So, hey y'all!
Hey!
Welcome back to my channel. I am Catherine Young and I'm a creative, and this is...
I'm Wendy Warden. I too am a creative.
Yes, she is. And today we're gonna do...
Sorry.
Lily needs to be part of the video.
Yes,
it's fine. So today we're gonna do a project that's almost kind of like a MOMENTO MORI assemblage type thing. I'm gonna have you explain it a little more, but I think this is a great project that you can do for like Halloween decor or just everyday decor. It's got some super spiritual kind of vibes, some spooky vibes, but also some great natural vibes. And I think it'll fit into all kinds of decor, and maybe this will inspire you to make your own.
I told Catherine once that my aesthetic was prairie goth, and so we're going with that. I started doing these things. I will attempt to not dislodge the cat, but also show you what I'm talking about. This is obviously a cat. It's inspired by the aesthetics of Victorian curiosity cabinets, and I started doing these shortly after my grandmother died because I wanted to do something with the flowers that I dried from her memorial bouquets. And I had been collecting things on my outdoor rambles for a very long time, and so I had all of these. I had skulls, I had acorns, I had feathers, and I just started putting them together, and I've always loved this aesthetic. I mean, I was a weird, creepy kid who enjoyed the dead things in her yard as much as she enjoyed the living things in her yard. And I would watch things decompose and wait for them to skeletonize. And my father was a bio teacher, so he kind of appreciated this about me.
Nice.
And my parents owned a craft store, so it was kind of in my nature to eventually make art out of my more morbid interests. But it also turned out to be a really meaningful way to memorialize my grandmother. And the one that I have, I didn't bring that one, but the one that I have is a very meaningful object to me. So the one I brought to show you was all things that I picked up last autumn. I was doing a lot of walking around my favorite local cemetery, which happens to be next to a reservoir woods park. There's a lot of walking trails. There's a fantastic herd of deer that I kind of stalk. And everything here came from those rambles, and I was also in the midst of some pretty intense spiritual training at the time, and so all of this stuff was symbolic of the elemental work that I was doing at the time as well. So I can look at that and really ground myself in that training.
And what I love about this is like you were saying, it's so personal. It had to do with your grandma. It had to do with your daily walkings. These items almost capture like a moment in time too. Yes. Around your life of when you put it together. Now, Wendy actually made me one, and it's one of my most favorite things in the world. Yes. And it is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, it has a little turtle skull. And to me, this always reminds me to slow down and go at my own pace. And so I truly need this because slowing down is something I'm terrible at. Yeah. So today we are gonna make our own and show them what you brought to put one in.
I found this fantastic little globe-shaped cloche, which I'm excited about because it looks witchy and crystal ball-like.
Now that was at Michael's.
It was right now.
Nice. And then I thrifted this, what is like a clear apothecary jar, and that's what I'm gonna use. So we are going to put these together. You're gonna just get to watch and see what we do. This next clip, I'm gonna show you some of the supplies we have to put together, and then you're just gonna watch us do this. And I hope that it inspires you to make your own.
Yes. Bouquets of beautiful dried things.
Lovely.
And each of these drawers has stuff that I've gathered from my yard and from bouquets that I have received and things that I have flattened.
Oh, wow.
And more more stuff that
It's like the fall drawer.
This is yeah, it's totally the fall drawer. That's everything.
I love it.
I love these. I absolutely adore these. I love also that there's a milkweed seed just hanging out.
Nice.
I go walking and just look for textures sometimes, and so things like that jump out at me.
Yeah.
This is also full of this bark is just
Wow.
it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. I love it.
Nest.
Oh, fun. I love the nest. Awesome.
Get my hand out of the way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a collection. Some of these came from my husband. Got me a subscription to the Skulls Unlimited bone box. So some of these were professionally done.
Wow.
And others, like my friend's chicken here, was a donation to my supply. And this poor little bun that I haven't bleached yet was in my yard.
Wow.
So there's a couple big bunnies in here too.
Nice. And then she brought like floral.
Floral foam for making levels.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm adding some sparkly stuff, some sparkly jewelry, and there's like a whole thing of jewelry bits and bobs in there too.
Yep.
And
there's tumbled stones.
Wow. I love it. Oh, that's so neat. Okay, so this is what we're going to use to get started.
So we grabbed a ton of items, and tell me what you were telling me about picking out all these different items.
My theory when I go into this is always to have a variety of colors and textures and heights so that you can build both depth upwards and fill your space, whichever size thing that you're working with.
Yeah, so you can just see the different things that we were gravitated towards. So my jar has more of like these dark colors. I love that wispy little seed piece right there. I have, a crucifix. I have a fun crescent pin. So I got some witchy items here. I also picked up some items that are kind of random pieces that I had just to see if they work. I also grabbed some more flowers, and these are going to be for height. As you can see, these are really tall. And so what did you grab?
I've been gravitating in a pink direction. So I have these little wispy fellows and this pine bark that has a nice pinky reddish cast to it, some rose quartz. I think I'm going to use a peacock feather.
Nice.
And I've got a collection of acorns because I love them. And from Catherine's delightful collection, I have this little sword, which you'll see.
Yeah, so now we're just gonna start piecing stuff together, and we're gonna try to show you as we're going along the way. Really, this is a process that is kind of trial and error.
It really is. You kind of figure out what looks best as you go along, and when you find a spot that works, glue it in or use your floral foam and adhere things.
Yeah, so we're just gonna do some different shots. We're gonna come back and talk through it if we need to in different parts.
Yep.
But really now we're just gonna show you us piecing it together.
Yes.
Wendy really was the pro at this. She really knew how to kind of create a base to make her skull kind of be on display. She grabbed all this different types of moss, and before I knew it, she just put all these different types of moss kind of on a pedestal, and it looked really natural and good. And I never would have thought that. I would have thought it would look strange and weird together, but it looked amazing. And she also didn't use that much glue, which I found really interesting. Later on in the videos, you'll see I can't get enough glue. But look at that. Look how it's just, the skull is on display.
So now you're adding some height, right?
I am adding some height, but the problem is I've picked out this fantastic piece of bark that is, so it's much taller. than the dome.
Yeah, so now what are we gonna do?
So now we're going to look at it and see where it makes sense to break it and which texture is the most important to keep.
So how does that fit now? See?
And so that the skull will be at an angle right in front of it, and that piece of bark will be framing it in another direction so that you've got interest in
That's cool.
multiple angles.
That looks really good. So yeah, it looks like putting the glass on the top is really something that you kind of need to keep doing while you go.
Yeah, you really do, because it will also help you visualize. As Catherine was saying, if you're used to working in 2 dimensions, it does really help you to work in 3 dimensions if you keep seeing the entire shape of the thing. We've got our own little forest floor happening here.
I love that pop of red. And
It makes me really happy.
And the way it's tilted, I think that looks really cool.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
And so once you have that, now the real fun happens. This is like, in my previous life, embellishing a dance bra with beads, which was my favorite part. You take, your little bits of status or tiny pieces of blingy jewelry or your precious stones, semi-precious stones, and place them where you might have need for color.
Awesome.
So really, Wendy was very mindful to always be kind of turning it, always be looking in different places. What I didn't realize was the skull was almost only held on by the little sword going through the eye socket there, and really just kind of the teeth resting in the moss and gravity. I didn't realize that it wouldn't be glued in there, but hot glue doesn't work super great on bones, I found out. We also just kind of worked together on ideas of where to place things, and that was super fun. It's always a good time when you get to throw ideas back and forth with somebody else. I think it always leads to a better product. And really, it was just, a lot of futzing little things, moving things over here, and does this thing fit right here, and how do we get it to stay there? Oh, just a little bit of glue and tweezers to hold it there. It really was just kind of a bit of a futzy little process, but it was really fun to work together and suggest ideas and watch it come together. And yeah, Wendy was so good at always kind of moving it around and just checking if the item she was using made sense. She also, would, kind of have an idea where something would go, but then would check, with the glass to be oh, should that really go there like that? Should it not? I really appreciated, how she was just very mindful of the whole thing. I also suggested that we use some bling on the side, and she would never have used bling if it weren't for me on the side, but I think it looks really good with the sword on the side. So the bling and the sword just, I thought they complemented each other really well, and so this piece ended up being something different than she would typically do, and it was because, we were working together. So that's pretty great, the creative process together can lead to some really great outcomes, and man, I really adore how this turned out.
And that's how it's done.
Yeah, so hers is finished. So now we're gonna start working on mine, and we'll show you the completed projects and nice zoom arounds all at the end.
Yes.
So I decided that I wanted this little teapot trinket to be my base. And the whole thing became problematic because the bottom is glass and things just didn't want to stay. So I think this is where I just started using way too much hot glue because things just didn't want to stay at the bottom of the glass. And plus the little teapot really was heavy, so it wasn't staying the way I wanted it to. And I think really it's just because I am not experienced with something like this, and I don't really understand how gravity works with it. So it was just a lot of trial and error. And then at one point the whole base just like uplifted from the bottom and moved. So it was basically chaos is what I'm trying to say. Oh goodness. So it also felt like, because there was glass around all the edges at all times, it was really hard to get things where I wanted them. The apothecary jar honestly probably wasn't the best choice to make my first one of these, because it just proved to be more of a difficult thing to try to place things in. You can see how the whole base has moved. Everything just moves when I try to put something in there. Oh lordy. But it did start to come together, and I got my wishbone in there, and trying to work with something like that, this beautiful beaded cross, it just like, it was so hard to make it look natural in this setting. What I was doing was super complicated, but you know what? I made it work. And at the end, I really love how it turned out, despite the fact mine took hours longer than Wendy's.
All right, y'all, we are done. Mine took a lot of futzing. It did. It just took a lot of futzing to get what I like, but we are done.
It was worth it. And
we were done.
We have a giant mess, which I always love.
Oh, we have a giant mess. It's great. But oh my God, y'all, here are our final creations. What do you think? I am seriously in love with how these turned out.
I am very, very, very happy with how they turned out.
They're so neat.
They're
and like
super fun.
I am absolutely going to hang this out all year round. It is not just for Halloween decor, but it's super Halloween. Like it could definitely fit in Halloween decor, but they are definitely going to go out year round. So and we kind of made up little stories around them, around what happened.
Yeah, that was fun too. Catherine was definitely saying that I have a deceased warrior mustelid here. I'm guessing a skunk. He's bigger than a mink. So and I like that she made me put some blingy in there, which I would not have done before, and I love it. I just really love it.
I think it looks really good. Yeah, and mine is like this weird teapot. It's got a lot of like old Victorian symbolism with the wishbone. I had to put the wishbone in there. It also has some bling in the back, but really this piece is meant to be seen from the front. And I just love it. I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to display it.
This was so much fun.
Oh, this is so great. So for me, I think the biggest thing was I think I probably did use too much hot glue. But I kept being like, no, more glue, because it just like, that's where my comfort level is to make everything just stay. And, it's something to learn for the next time. So
and I maybe don't use enough hot glue, but I've never moved house with these, so that's a thing.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments which one was your favorite. And yeah, that is it, y'all. So thank you so much for coming over. And
thank you for having me. This was a blast. I love to see the way other people approach art.
Oh, I know, right? I tell you what, one mind is great, but two minds is like spectacular. So it's so much fun. So I hope this inspired you. I hope this gave you some ideas for some Halloween decor. Yes. And stay creative, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
There she comes.
Here she comes.
Do you want to be part? Do you want to take part? Come here. Come here, Lily. Come here. Come here. Let's get you in the video now. Come on.
Snot.
You are a little snot. But you need to be in the video, right? Oh,
no. That was great cat face.
We were working on stuff for a long time, so it's going to take a long time.
I have a...
Yeah. That took a long time.
Yeah, it did.
All right. Yeah.
It was a time. And it...
All right. Okay. Real
Real
recording.
time.
Okay. Camera hasn't started. Nope. All right. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, we can be as weird as we want.